Hey guys, welcome back to Fortnite. My name is Ntac, and today I want to talk to you about Fortnite PvE Save the World. I'm sure most of you by now know about the Battle Royale aspect of the game, but there is a massively in-depth aspect to the game called Save the World, which is the PvE aspect of the game that features survival against an invasion of husks, which are basically zombies but a little different, okay? They've taken over human bodies. And this mode will be coming free to play at some point in 2018, and so that's why I think it's important to make as many videos on PvE as I can so that you guys are prepared for it when you get into the game. Now, before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to become a part of the notification squad and be one of the first people to watch my new Fortnite videos. Also, check the description for a link to a forum where you can submit your epic clips to be featured in a Fortnite Battle Royale Best Moments highlight video. Given PvE will be coming free to play sometime in 2018, I feel it's necessary to make this guide video as well as many other guides in the future to help new players. When you first start out in the game, it might be really daunting, okay? But just bear with me, trust me, it's easy to figure out as time goes on. But when you first start out in the game, you'll basically go through the basic storyline of the game and get the gist and get sped up to what's happening in the world, and basically your duty is to help save the world. You'll have two general aspects to the game: the home base, which is like your main base of operations, and then these various missions that you can complete along the way. Your home base is exactly what it sounds like: your location, your home, where you have to defend and prepare for invasions, because the husks have basically figured out where you're staging your base of operations. You'll need to scavenge for supplies in these various missions and use those supplies to build up your defenses. Now, there are a ton of other aspects to PvE, and like I said, it can be really overwhelming at first. You have your main storyline, which is pretty easy to follow along with, but there are many other things that aren't fully explained, and hopefully this video will help you with the basics, okay? So this video is a basic video. It's not going to go super in-depth into things, but it will help you to understand things along the way if you're just starting out. So, this video will not go into depth for the sake of time and ease of understandings, but I'll cover things more in depth as time goes on. On the main menu screen, you will see various tabs. The Play tab shows you current standings in terms of where you are in regards to the main storyline quest, rewards, and then the next upcoming quest that you have. The Map tab shows you the areas of the world, and each specific area shows you the home base location and the missions for that part of the world. Each home base can be built up and defended. The missions will range in difficulty and rewards. You'll notice that some areas say that you're underpowered. These areas are too tough for you, essentially, and you may want to avoid these areas until you get stronger and have better weaponry, although you can rush through things and get carried by people if you have good higher teammates with you, but generally it's safe to avoid these things at first. The Heroes tab shows you several different things. We've got the current health, shield, offensive capabilities, and defensive capabilities of your main hero. You got your squad bonus, which is given by the other various heroes that you slot in this area, as well as your mission defenders who can be deployed while on a mission to help to assist you in protecting a base. The heroes in the squad bonus slot can help grant you a special bonus. In this case, in my case, I love ninjas, but ninjas are a little weak at times, and so I have two beefy constructors slotted in here to add additional health, and then they add shield as well, and give me various bonuses, as well as an ability called Firewall, which triggers an energy pulse when I get attacked by melee attacks. It like pushes them back and deals damage. And there are all different types of varying abilities that you can put in here. There are all sorts of varying abilities that come with different heroes when they are leveled up and evolved, which we'll talk about more later. You can, slot things in there that are very good to help a ninja in terms of like maybe critical or something like that. But in my case, I want to just beef them up, and so that's what I've done. It's just my playstyle. You can change it up depending on how you play, but this is just what I chose to run right now. Now, under the squads tabs, you have different squads that do different things. You've got the Survivor Squads, which grant Fortitude, Offensive, Resistance, and Tech Fort. This increases when you slot various survivors in those areas. It's important to note that each survivor has specific stats as well, and different abilities, as well as rarity. They also have set bonuses, which are little like differences in terms of what they are good at. These set bonuses can happen when paired with other survivors in the same squad of a similar set, which is indicated by the little icon below their picture. It's a little complicated, but it's easy to figure out. There is a defender squad, which helps when defending your home bases, and expedition squads, which can be sent out to gather various supplies. Now, as I said, I'm kind of rushing through this for the sake of time, but I hope you understand so far what this is, because it's pretty simple to understand. You basically just have different heroes, you have different defenders, different survivors, and each one has different stats and abilities, and you can slot them in different locations to give you bonuses. Okay, so that's pretty much the gist of it. Now, the Armory tab, this can be pretty daunting at first, but it's very important to know about, especially one area, which we'll talk about in a little bit. In Fortnite PvE, weapons cannot be repaired and will eventually break, which a lot of people, at first are like, this is dumb, and there's a huge grind, but it's not that bad. I mean, it's actually not bad at all. You will need to scavenge for supplies in the different missions to be able to craft these new weapons. Weapon schematics are required to do so. In the schematic area, you will find all of your weapons in trap schematics. Traps can be placed down on your bases to protect against the husks. Each schematic can be leveled up using blueprint experience. They have their own stats and abilities. You may want to experiment on what you like the most. For example, as a ninja, I like to be extremely fast, so I use a sword which causes high critical damage. Each weapon will have a different stat roll. This is very important, which we'll talk about in future videos, but essentially they have different stats. You can have the same similar weapon but have completely different stats. One might be amazing and one might suck. You might have an epic one that's really, really good in terms of stat rolls, and a legendary one that is just horrible. And so it's very important to know they have different stats. Some can have very interesting stats too, and so, or double stats, and so it's really important to notice what you have. Now, each weapon will have not only different stats, but also different characteristics. For example, I have weapons like the new legendary Dragon Fang Spear, which is a bit slower but has a wider area of attack than the sword does. And so this is what I mean by you want to maybe experiment and find what type of thing you like best, because the spear is okay, I don't like it. I like to be fast, you know what I mean? And so this also applies to the different type of character you use. You might not like how slow a character is or something like this. And then also this applies to the various guns in game. Some deal massive damage, some are energy-based weapons, some have different elemental abilities essentially, some are snipers, burst snipers, single shot, you name it. There's different types of weapons, and you need to find what you like the most. The All Heroes square is where you can find all of your heroes. You can level them up here, you can evolve them, and retire them if you need. And then the Survivor and Defenders tab is basically the same thing. Your backpack is where you can view all the loot you have on you. This includes the various weaponry and ammo and traps and building and crafting supplies. Everything is found in here. And then the next area is very, very important to know about. The collection book. This is a very nice area, but a very, very important one to not mess up. Many mistakes were made here by many people, and you can talk to dozens of people, and they'll tell you, oh, I wish I would have known more about the collection book. When I first started out, I dropped some very good things in this area, and you need to be careful with who and what you put in here so you don't waste things. When you start out, don't throw epic or legendary items into this book. That's purple and orange collectively. Collection book will grant you really nice, decent rewards, but whatever you put into the book will be gone forever. It is vital to understand how everything works before you start putting stuff in here. Which schematics are better than others, and then why they're better than others before putting these epic and legendary things in here. Because like I said, some schematics can have really great rolls while others suck. So you want to keep the great roll ones, and then the bad ones you can just put in here, or something like that. And so it's very important to know what you're putting in and why you shouldn't put certain things in. The transform box is where you can transform a set of items into a random item rarity or hero rarity. The resource box shows you what resources you have and the storage in your storage. Pretty straightforward. The skill tab is where you start getting more in depth. So we won't go too much into this right now, essentially, but this is the backbone of your character and your abilities, ranging from your upgrading your pickaxe, to increasing backpack size, to increasing your various stats, to being able to evolve your heroes, unlock new abilities, and more. There's a lot in here, and they get more in depth with each skill tree. Each tree will take some time to progress through, but are labeled so you can quickly sort through like where you want to go. You know, like certain areas you might want to focus on where others you might not want to. The research trees are very similar, but in slightly different ways. In here, you can upgrade your fort stats, which are fortitude, offense, resistance, and tech, as well as your backpack size, storm shield, storage size, and your party stats, essentially. The loot tab is where you can go to open llamas. You can buy various llamas and receive them through doing different objectives in game, or receive special tickets in game to unlock festive or holiday ones. Now keep in mind though that these will rotate as time goes on, so if there's something that you want to get it while you can. In the store, you can upgrade your pack, or you can buy V-Bucks. It's pretty self-explanatory what the store is. The quest tab is a very important area and shows you your current objectives, your main quest, tutorial quest, event quest, daily quests, and do your daily quests. Do them if you can. Each quest shows the various objectives and the rewards for completing them. At the top of the window, you'll see several things. Lots of things in the game can be leveled up, upgraded, and evolved. You have what is called a power level. This goes up when you raise your base stats, which are increased by improving your survivor squad, spending skill points, and research points, and then there's also some main quest stuff as well, but essentially your main storyline power level. But essentially, power level dictates what you can and cannot do in game, or what you can do. You can do all kinds of different things in game, but you'll be underpowered. Remember how we talked about that at the beginning of the video? So that is what you need to focus on in terms of like when you're going into various different missions. The colorful bar at the top of the window is your commander experience. Essentially, this is where you can look to see your progression and experience requirements to reach the next set of skill points, which you can then spend on upgrading your character in the character tree. You can also activate experience boosts to gain a boost when you are going through the different missions and through the game. You can see how many V-Bucks you have, as well as your friends and how many friends are online, as well as add new friends to the friend tab. And then in terms of the main window and various things, that's pretty much it. There's a lot more to it in terms of like more in-depth stuff and what to do, but that's the basic gist of things. So now that we've talked about that, let's actually talk about doing various different missions. Do your main story quests as you can, because sometimes you're not going to be able to because they're going to be too hard for you to do right away, but you can also do your side missions in the meantime while you're leveling up and getting stronger. These missions will range in different types, from rescuing survivors to fighting a massive invasion of husks to battling encampments. I mean, there's a bunch of different types of missions, and each one has different things that you can do. Each one has various challenges and objectives within the mission. In the mission, you will have some main objectives, whether that be to place an atlas to clear the storm and defend that atlas, which requires you to build a base around it, to rescuing survivors, which requires you to go around the map and find them. In the missions, you will want to gather resources, like pretty much no matter what, in order to build up and defend the objective the mission requires it, and then also collect those for your main base, build defenses, place down traps, make cool bases, whatever. I mean, there's a bunch of different things you can do in each mission. Just gather resources and search through boxes and whatnot to gather crafting supplies for various things as well. It's fairly straightforward. You walk up to something with your pickaxe in your hand and start whacking it to get materials. It's pretty simple. Also, don't be afraid when you first start out to build around the base. Like, you know, some people are pretty stingy with how they build bases, and like they hate when other people build them, but just build. You know, just have fun with the game. Some things in this game you can't destroy also, but most things you can. Like, you can bring a whole building down. Now, at the end of the match, when you're all said and done, you'll receive experience and a loot crate which will grant you various things in it. And so that's pretty much the gist of the game. I mean, I could talk about the different things in each mission a little bit more in depth, but in terms of the basics of the game, that's pretty much it. The missions are straightforward in terms of the objectives that you have to do. The objectives will have varying difficulties. There's all kinds of different things like getting schematics and upgrading your heroes and upgrading the schematics, you know, prioritizing things like the pure raindrops, and like, because you're going to need that for actually evolving and upgrading different things. There's a lot of varying things that go into PvE, but in terms of like the basics of the gist of things, that's it. And so I really hope that this helped you, and let me know if there's an area that you would like me to talk about that might help you even further. And then also, you guys can go and look up, I mean, there's guides all over the place, like really in-depth guides that different websites have done. There's guides on Reddit that you can view. I mean, there's all kinds of different things. There's even really in-depth, like people figuring out like how many different materials you're going to need to do different things. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that can help you in the game. Just do some research. If you get stuck somewhere, just look it up. I feel like people have been in the game long enough that they can help you with pretty much anything. And so you can even hop into the general chat if you have any issues in that regard. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's pretty straightforward, I think, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Things are going well in your life. Let me know what you'd like to see next. See you guys in the next one.